Good evening and welcome back to Prime of Midlife. As you can see, this is the day after falling down and hurting myself. So settle down, we're here for a while. Oh goodness. Right, we just need to put our feet up. See, and then we'll just do a little turn. Okay, we'll not do a little turn, that pushed too much. Hi, welcome to Prime of Midlife. It is Sunday evening and I'm gutted, I have to say. This evening we are talking about Tesco's. Now, if you've been watching the channel, you know I did a lot of shopping at Tesco's. I have done for years. I used to get a lot of online deliveries, and recently when I was through in Perth early mornings, because it opened at 6, I would go there a lot, and that's where we've done all the channel food donations for food banks. However, I saw a headline yesterday. Suppliers hit back at Tesco over fees to sell produce online. Just like, what? What is this? So, suppliers and farmers have warned that tough new fees imposed by Tesco on produce sold through its website could put them out of business. Seemingly, Tesco's told suppliers last week that they would have to shoulder new Amazon-style fulfilment fees per item sold on Tesco.com or through its app. And the fees are understood to be 12 pence per item for branded goods and 5 pence for own brand. But Tesco says the numbers are up for negotiation. The smallest suppliers, those with contracts of $250,000 or less, are set to be exempt. However, if smaller businesses like fruit and vegetable growers which sell via larger middlemen, the larger middlemen are not going to be exempt and they won't be able to take on all these costs. And I'm like, what is going on here? So I'm just having a look, and now it says they've seen, wait a minute, just this last bit. Ali Capper, who is the chair of the trade body British Apples and Pears, said it would be unsustainable if these new costs were footed by her members. They've seen returns from supermarkets rise less than 0.8% last year, while costs rose 23%. And in response, Tesco highlighted new support it's given to British farmers this year, including higher payments to chilled vegetable growers. And seemingly these new terms could apply as early as Monday. Now, normally I try not to get overly political here. However, this is getting ridiculous. You've got Tesco, who are a multi-billion-pound company, who have put contracts in for suppliers to give them food. And they haven't particularly upped it very much. I mean, as you heard there, the farmers, it's cost them 23% more for the apples and pears people, and they're getting 0.8% more from the supermarkets. It's not worth the grower's while. And I'm like, well, why on earth is Tesco doing this? Do they not realise? And what is it for? Because Tesco's obviously made a lot of good money from the online deliveries through the pandemic, etc. I mean, I had online deliveries before the pandemic, but a lot more people are, taking them up on it through the pandemic. So it's not that Tesco's losing money. The only people that seems to be losing money here are the actual producers. And I think that's unfair. I'm really getting quite irked with bigger companies screwing the smaller guy. It really is irking me. And so I had a look. As I said yesterday, we were thinking about going to Boycotting to the fruit market. However, in my area, as you know, I'm in Perthshire, and when I was on the radio, it was the Creef radio station, and obviously, as I say, Perthshire, so I found two places. I have found Taybank growers Tea Bank Growers Collective, Tea Bank Growers Group, something like that. And they do veggie boxes and they're organic and chemical free and they've got a little farm shop and stuff. And I was like, right, I can go there. Then I found the Handy Shop in Crieff. Now, the Handy Shop does veggie boxes and stuff. They go down to the market and they also do wholesale. So I know that they supply like local hotels and stuffs in the Crieff area because they're going down to the market in Glasgow. So why wouldn't you? Why would you pay? I mean, Patrick and I were talking about it today when I was like, look, this Handy Shop in Crieff, even if we get together as a bulk, we could, get wholesale from them. And Patrick quite rightly said, if I went down to Glasgow, it's an hour's drive. So you're talking an hour's drive, an hour to get your whatever you get from the market, an hour to sort it out for and an hour back. So that's 4 hours it's going to take me to do that. Or I can get the people who are already down there just to get me some stuffs. So, that's in my area, there are 2 completely different kind of fruit and veggie suppliers who could give me fruit and veg and that we could actually bulk buy from. And I was thinking about that and I was thinking, like, right, I'm seriously so irked about Tesco. I am never ever shopping in Tesco again. I am completely boycotting it. I am stomping my feet like a 5-year-old and just going, no, I'm not giving you my money again. I don't care. I'm lucky in that, I have to go to Perth for my shopping. Perth has Asda's, it has Morrison's, it has Aldi, it has Lidl's. I do not need Tesco's. And if that's the way they're going to treat their suppliers, then I'm not doing it. So that's my wee thing. So yes, that is, and I'm now looking at it going, right, okay, so if the Tesco suppliers are really struggling, I think one of their groups was the Lee Valley Growers, which is where mainly cucumbers and stuff come, and they haven't filled their greenhouses because they can't afford the costs and stuff. And I'm like, something? Somebody somewhere in those companies knows how to put up a website. We need to start looking for these websites, for these Facebook pages. We need to start helping spread the word. If a local farmer is selling his stuff at the farm gate, let's start spreading the word. Now, I know, as I've said, some of them have been done. I mean, the farmers' markets are ridiculously priced sometimes. I mean, we've had, I think somebody tried to start one locally and the prices were just like, I can't afford, I think a loaf of bread, like, handmade loaf of bread, but 5-6 years ago it was £4. Like, you're not on. So, but there's other stuff, and I mean, Patrick noticed in Morrison's, they've got a lot of wonky veg just now. And that's the stuff that the supermarkets used to refuse to take. So the farmers were struggling to get rid of it. So let's speak to our local farmers. Let's speak to our local farming community. As I say, it doesn't take much to throw up a website. I'm sure some of the kids at school can do it nowadays. Because if I can do it, everybody else can. And be supportive. As I say, I'm going to look at the 2 that I've found here. I think there's one in Stirling as well. But I know some of them some of the shops were geared for higher prices with people, like it's organic, it's chemical free. I can't afford that sort of stuff. I just need, basically, for me, it'll be the Handy Shop. I need the guy that goes down to the market and gets the stuff at a decent price. But if you've got farmers at the farm gate who are like, there's my wonky veg, support them, spread the word, etc., etc. So yeah, that's me. I'm having a complete boycott of Tesco's. I'm pouting like a 5-year-old. I really don't like it. So that is my thought for the day. Also, thank you. Thank you so much for all the well wishes, the get well soons, the what are you like? Yeah, no, it is. And for anyone who's remotely worried, I did see one comment that said, please tell me it's not domestic violence. It is not. Not by any manner of means. Only once in my life have I encountered anything remotely like that, which was when I was in my 20s and my boyfriend pinned me against a wall. Let me assure you, That relationship ended 3 minutes later when I pulled on jeans and a sweatshirt and walked out the door. So yes, there is nothing to worry about, but I am so impressed and thankful and absolutely blown away by everyone's support. And even when I said to Patrick, I was like, look, please don't be, but someone said to my, and he's like, as if, and I was like, I know, but then he almost immediately turned around and went, isn't that nice that someone wanted to check on you? So yes, thank you. That was appreciated by both of us, that you all care enough to put in these messages, etc. So yeah, thanks very much for that. The other thing I am talking about today is banks. There's another bank going under, and seemingly the headlines that I've read recently are that something's got to happen with the Bank of England to try and save this bank. I'm in two minds over this, because the first mind, so on my left hand, is the, oh my goodness, people's savings, people's investment, pension funds and everything, they could crash and burn. They need to save it, they can't leave people skint, because that wouldn't be fair. And that's there. But see this hand. This hand is, I am absolutely, utterly sick to the back teeth of hearing about bankers' bonuses, financiers' bonuses, and how we cannot get higher wages because the economy can't do it. What's the economy doing about the bank? It's rescuing them. Why is it not rescuing the people? If the UK government can rescue that bank, genuinely, I'd rather see the bank go down and save people's jobs. Thank you very much, and pay them a decent wage. Because we've rescued the banks before. Nothing happens. The banks carry on giving ridiculous bonuses while our emergency services are struggling to put food in their families' mouths. And the government rescues them and they just carry on as if nothing's happened. I'm not liking that at all. That was a big breath. So, yes, we don't like that one at all. So that was my other thing of today, because this bank that went bust in the States, and then there's seemingly a run on another one or anything. And it just is, it's now getting that it's sickening. There just seems to be so many people who are getting bonuses and multi-million-pound payouts, and the people who are actually hard-working are the ones that are struggling. And today, Patrick and I were talking about it. We were actually talking about youngsters, about the kids, and how they're getting helped with the bank of mum and dad. And Patrick and I, Patrick, he's 6 years older than me. So he says, I would never have asked my dad for money. He said, I had my milk round, I had my job, he said, so did my brother. It's like, yep. As I did, because I was an only child, so I was spoiled. But looking at my mum and dad, from where they started, mum was a switchboard operator in a hotel, dad was a driver, and I think in a very short time he became a lorry driver. And they managed to get a council house when I was about 2, I think. And they could never have imagined their life turning out the way it did. And it wasn't that it was any different from any of their neighbours, because all the neighbours in the council houses in that street, they all moved. Whether they bought that council house and then bought somewhere else, they moved. Mum and dad inherited my granddad's house. Now, it was almost derelict, and they had to put a lot of money into getting it, basically wind and watertight. It needed a whole new roof, the whole thing. We basically knocked it down to the 4 stone walls, and then the guys came in and fixed it. And yes, I did. I swung a sledgehammer knocking that house down. But from what I know from my parents, I think that was as far as they thought they were going to get. But then dad got a different job, mum got promoted, they got decent pensions. They actually had a much better life than they envisaged for themselves when they were young. Unfortunately now, the youngsters coming up with like your nurses, your retail staff, your hospitality staff, they're going back to the life that my mum and dad had before, struggling from one week to the next. So there seems to have been this generation in between where things went well and the world was a happy place. Mandy will laugh at that because I say that at work a lot. Where the world was a happy place and people managed to move on and move up, and there was social mobility and everything like that. Now it seems like we're going backwards. People can't get homes, they can't get decent paying jobs. It just seems to be going backwards. So yeah, sorry, I need to have a cup of tea. I made myself tea because I thought I'm just going to sit and chat, basically. So feel free to turn me off now if you wish, because that's about the most of my thing. The cat is over there. Patrick came and got dinner for us. He came through and I was like, there's sausage casserole in the freezer, which if you saw, you'll have heard I did the sausage casserole. And I was like, there's sausage casserole in the freezer, there's mashed potato in the freezer, because frozen mash is so much easier. And he's like, yeah. So we sat down, we had a cup of tea, and I was like, you want Chinese? So he went up to the town and got Chinese. And we had Chinese, and we had a wee cup of tea. And then he was like, right, I'm going to go back down the road because you're working tomorrow, so I don't like him here when I'm working in the morning. Not on a Monday anyway. So I swear to goodness, he had not shut that door more than 5 minutes before the cat was on his chair, curled up, claimed. And yesterday when he came in to check on me, the cat was curled up in the chair and she wouldn't get out of it when he first came in. He had to actually, stand and look at her and speak to her and get her told to get the cat out, to get out of his seat. So yes, so the cat is peacefully there. I am rested. I have painkillers. I have tea. I have been checked on. I actually managed to have a shower and wash my hair today all by myself, which for the amount of pain that I'm in if I move wrong is quite horrible, or is quite impressive, but the amount of pain I'm in if I try and move too much is horrible. But yeah, so I have done that. I've got clothes for work tomorrow. I'm all sorted, and we'll see how we go. So yes, I just thought I would come and sit and have a wee chat with you and go, yay, look, I am so grumpy about Tesco. I honestly can't believe how grumpy I am about Tesco. I can't believe they're doing that to the farmers, and I'm absolutely determined to go and look locally and try and find, and I don't need all this, all that. I just need, see if the farmers are struggling. If you're a farmer and you're struggling out there, let us know. Put it out on Facebook and say, I'm selling it at the end of the driveway, or in this corner of that field. And anyone who knows any farmers that are doing that, get it on Facebook, get it out there, let us know, because, even just as I've been looking at the comments, there's quite a few people in the comments in Scotland. There's some of you are not that far away from me. You even know the shops I'm talking about. We can let each other know. We can let each other know if there's a farm that's selling eggs or that's suddenly selling veg. Like we've got the guy along the road that sells sacks of potatoes, which is utterly no use to me because, as you know, I can't even peel carrots. There's not a hope of me peeling potatoes unless it's an emergency. So, yeah, but for someone else, they're selling proper farmer sacks of potatoes for much cheapness. I know this. So I think we should spread the word and try and, I don't know, I'm up for this stopping the supermarket control. Not when they're doing this to the farmers, when they're all of a sudden, cost of living crisis, farmers' costs have gone through the roof, and now they're saying, oh, you need to pay us more if you want us to go online. Actually, sweetie, I'm quite sure that a couple of farmers can get one of their 20-year-old kids to set up a website for online orders within a 20-mile radius. And if they all did that, Tesco wouldn't get any online orders for veg, would they? Not that I'm presuming that we should do that, but absolutely. I think that's the sort of thing we should do because I'm so cross about that. So there you go. I'm going to now attempt to put down the computer. That's actually going to be quite fun because putting things down the way is not good. Bear with me a second. This should... Haha! Right. Now I'm going to attempt to get up and switch this off and get it online. So have a good Sunday evening. I will now put down my footrest and go and have the rest of my tea. Catch you later.